What's up? Welcome to Last Week at the Movies, your weekly movie news digest or feed, video, whatever you want to call it. There hasn't been a ton of real news this week. The movie season is ramping up and there's a lot of good movies coming out right now, but there's not a ton of actual news. There's the classic, this actor and this actor, they're going to try and do this movie, or this actor's teaming up with this director, or whatever combination of potential movie team up is going to happen, or the classic, this movie just got greenlit, this movie, might get made. I don't like to talk about that kind of stuff just because it's the movie industry, and for every 10 this movie just got announced mentions or moments, maybe 2 of those movies actually end up getting made. But honestly, I think that the real news this week is what's happening at the box office. So we'll get into that, and then we'll wrap things up as we usually do with what movies are coming to theaters this weekend. So there's just one piece of news, and it might be a little bit of a premature piece of news because it's not quite the end of the year yet, but I don't know, it's my show. I've been thinking about it. It keeps coming up, so I guess I wanted to address it right now. So I feel like everybody is dying. Every time I look at the news of what's happening in the industry news, it's like someone else has died. It just keeps coming up. So I just wanted to go over and take a little bit of time going over some of them. And I can't go over all of them or the episode would be 10 hours long. So I'm just going to pick a few. And if I miss someone who's important to you, sorry about that. And what you should do is down in the comments below, let me know who I missed and tell me what you liked about him. So first on my list there's a man named Drew Struzan, and sadly, you probably don't know who that is. Well, he is responsible for some of the most iconic movie posters of all time. Basically, every new big movie poster that we see nowadays, especially Marvel stuff, they copy directly or at least draw huge influence from Drew's style. I just wanted to shout him out, and he will be missed. Robert Redford is someone who should be brought up in nearly all of the best actor, most influential any actor conversation. I feel like Robert Redford should be brought up, and that's on me too, because it's I don't ever bring him up whenever I'm talking about my favorite actors or influential actors and stuff. So now I wanted to take that time and just say Robert was pivotal to my younger movie mind. Movies like Jeremiah Johnson, A River Runs Through It, or even Sneakers were on repeat in my house. And it was very sad for me to see him go. I'm only going to do 2 more. Michael Madsen is in 289 movies. I know that most people really only know him from the Tarantino movies, but I've always liked him. He's always really brought it in all of the movies that he's in. He is, I think if I had one critique on the guy, post-mortem, he's a little samey in his movies, but I like the guy. And he was only 67, which is too young. I particularly liked him in The Natural. If you haven't seen The Natural, you should watch it. You can do a little bit of a twofer because Robert Redford is the lead in The Natural. So yeah, I just wanted to shout him out. And lastly, Val Kilmer. This one's a little bit earlier in the year, but like the other actors on this list, as a kid, he was someone that I idolized, his swag, his charisma. Tombstone and The Saint. The Saint isn't very good, but it was on repeat in my house, just like Robert's stuff. And, I just want to say, rest in peace, Val. Now, I know that I missed a ton. Gene, Lynch, Diane Keaton. There's a lot that I missed, and I know that. So let me know in the comments below who I did miss. Honorable mention that isn't really related to movies, but D'Angelo, I have been listening to his music on repeat since his passing, and just wow, what a special musician. Sad to see him go. Okay, let's get into the box office news. I'm making some changes from now on forward, unless you guys say otherwise. Instead of just reading off the top 5 movies and how much they made and kind of, talking about that little bit, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I feel like it wasn't super engaging. It wasn't super interesting unless I really dove deep into what those numbers meant. So what I'm going to do moving forward is I'm just going to look at the numbers and take whatever I think is interesting from the numbers from the last week and just really, it could be the 10th movie or the 100th movie in the list, but if something happened that's interesting inside of the box office, then I'm going to talk about that instead of just always hitting the top 5. So This week, it's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. The Smashing Machines bomb, it's predictable, but it's sort of wild. It has only made $14 million. Now, I would bet my life that it doesn't, that 14 million doesn't even cover The Rock's fees for being in the movie. It was made for $50 million at least. I think it was probably made for more. So what I want to unpack are two things. The first, I already made an entire video on this, so I'll be short here. If you want to watch the full, lengthy, all my thoughts, you can click, I'll put it in the link below and you can check that out. But just to summarize it quickly, it's that The Rock is overrated and Hollywood doesn't know it. They thought that he was going to sell tickets, but nobody actually cares about him. The second thing is, and I might end up making a full video about this, is just that we are seeing A24 move away from these low and mid-budget movies that they're known for, and it's not working out super well for them. We see this in The Smashing Machine, and we see it in other movies like Beau's Afraid, where they're dumping a ton of movies into a type of movie that is more mid and low budget, but they're putting a ton of money into it that makes really well made, awesome, but more like independent feeling movies. And it's sort of backfiring. And it's interesting to see where this might potentially go, but I think we already can kind of see where it's going to go. If they don't pivot and make some changes, I think that they're going to end up just falling back towards mid, which is honestly where I want them. If A24, Neon, and these other businesses and these other production companies that are starting to rise up, if they can just stay, because for the past, 10 years, we've really been missing that mid-budget movie. And I know A24 wants to make those big bucks, but dude, like, I don't know, maybe stay in your lane, and every now and again you can branch out if you have something that's going to be more wide reaching. But when you dump $50 million, which actually isn't that much money, but when you dump that much money for something like The Smashing Machine, which doesn't have a big audience, I don't know, you're just not going to end up doing that. Or like Beau's Afraid, like, did you really think that was going to do gangbusters? I mean, Ari hasn't really done anything super big since Hereditary. I don't know, just sort of interesting to see where things are at with A24. And I mean, I'll definitely be keeping a close eye, and if anything pops up, you'll be the first to know. Now, along those same lines, similar lines, but also very different, is Tron Ares. Just like The Smashing Machine, Disney thought that they had a guy who was going to sell tickets who actually doesn't sell tickets. Now, this one might even be even more hardcore than The Rock. Like, potentially, this guy might even deter people from going to see his movies. Jared Leto. Tron was made for $150 million, and during the most important time and lucrative time of a movie's life, the opening weekend, it has made only $75 million. This was no surprise to me. If you guys have been watching any of my stuff, you know that I've been I've been predicting it, but I mean, I don't think it's a very hard thing to predict. So that's happening, and I feel like hopefully it feels like Disney's never learning its lesson, but I mean, we'll see after Tron. I don't know if Jared's going to get much more gigs after this, but we'll have to see. The last thing I wanted to touch on as far as the box office is One Battle After Another is about to break $200 million at the box office, and I think this is super interesting because I am not seeing what everybody else is seeing in it. It is extremely well made, VistaVision, IMAX, all the stuff. I get it. It's very well made, but I don't feel like it's super accessible for just the average viewer, but maybe I guess I'm wrong. I'm a little out of touch because the reviews are always, it's hard. I'm trying to get a better grasp on like the everyday viewer of actually what they think. And I'm getting kind of like an Oppenheimer vibe where the critics are just like bumping it up huge. Like, this movie's a masterpiece. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah. But when you start to talk to just the regular Joe, that they walk away from it saying like, I liked X, Y, and Z, but like overall, I'm not going to see that movie again. And I think that is where One Battle After Another kind of lands. And so I think that right now it's got great legs and people are talking about it's blown up. Good for them. Honestly, good for Warner Brothers. I think that like, this is a good thing. I'm just surprised by it. Real quick, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps me. It helps the channel. Also, if you want to write into the show and I will read your comments, you can be a part of what's happening and be a part of the news. You can do that over at patreon.com/Austin Kohler. And then lastly, I'm on Letterboxd. If you want to follow me there, see what I'm watching, and I don't know, talk about stuff, you can follow me over there at Austin Kohler TV. Finally, let's wrap things up with the movies, or this this week, just the movie that's coming to theaters this weekend. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Bruce Springsteen, a young musician on the cusp of global stardom, struggles to reconcile the pressures of success with the ghosts of his past. It stars Jeremy Allen White. It looks really good. We're sort of in the middle of these like singer-songwriter biopics. There's just a ton of them coming out. Some are better than others. I predict that Springsteen is going to be good. I think it's going to be solid. And I feel like if you're a big Bruce fan, you will especially like it. There are a few other movies that are coming out, but they're not wide releasing, so I'm not going to hit on them. I usually just try to hit on the wide releasing, the big movies, unless something like is really catching my eye. So thank you so much for watching my video. What did I miss? Let me know in the comments below. I drop new videos every single day, so I will see you tomorrow. See ya. Bro, come on.